Hello and welcome to episode 6 of From the Bottom Up to the Top, and this is our review of the season just gone, and we'll be looking at the transfer window as well. And here we are in the game and looking at the league table, the final league table. 42 games played. As we've said, we had 21 games and we were on 21st place with 7 points when we joined on the 26th of December. And we finished the season with 10 wins, 13 draws, 19 losses, a -8 goal difference, and a points total of 43 points. So did extremely well there. I think that's 36 points in the second half of the season, which was absolutely tremendous, bearing in mind where we were at that stage. Since you were last with us, you missed one game and one game only. That was the game against Hereford. I think last time you were with us we played Boston and Kings Lynn, beating Boston 4-2 and Kings Lynn 3-0 to make sure that we'd actually hung on to our status in the Vanarama National League North. And then we played Hereford and we won that game 1-0. It wasn't an absolutely fantastic game, but we did what we needed to do, basically, having secured our place. And Billy Priestley scored again from a corner and yet another header. So 3 games in a row there, you can see that he actually did. So that's how we finished the season. Let's have a quick roundup of the end of season awards then, and these are the end of season awards. As we can see, Billy Priestley was the fans player of the season with 51% of the vote, and rightly so as well. He played a real big part in that. He has actually been given a new contract, which we've done for him, and he is now with us until 2021, to the end of the next season anyway. So that's a recompense for him for doing such a good job. Alex Hurst, who was on loan, he was the second fans player of the season with 21%, and Nicky Clee was third with 17%. And the goal of the season was Michael Collins, the game I think he saw against Boston United in the last episode. A free kick from Collins, tucked it into the top corner, and don't really think necessarily that was the goal of the season, but certainly to the latter stages I think it was probably the one that sent us on our way to actually making sure that we stayed in the Vanarama National League. Signing of the season was Karwinsko Mapuvu, who is on the left side of defence, and the young player of the season was Alex Hurst. So our team of the season: Spice in goal, Danny Lowe, Azika Nu. I have been practicing that. Billy Priestley, Joshua Webb, and then Isaac Marriott in defensive midfield, Nicky Clee, Nowalski, Ryan Hall, and then up front George Danaher and Alex Hurst. So that was our team of the season. What else has been going on? This was the season review. Expected relegation certainties heading into the season, although that was the case, they will be delighted to have finished with their heads above water. Match of the season was, and I think that's absolutely right, and I think it was the big turning point, albeit we played a little bit wonky immediately afterwards, was the 5-0 win against Blythe Spartans and the moment to forget was before we joined, was the 4-0 loss to Altrincham. Lost in the third qualifying round of the Emirates FA Cup to Gateshead, and the Builder Base FA Trophy lost in the third round to Slough. And as we've already said, finished 18th in the Vanarama National League. The average attendance was 546, which is only 15% capacity, and the total players used were 33, which was the second most used in the National League. Club visions for the next 5 years: so strive to make progress on and off the pitch, work within the wage budget. National League, avoid relegation battle. This for the next season. Obviously contract expires, and then in ensuing seasons we need to work towards reaching the National League North playoffs, and reach the National League playoffs we have to in 24-25, but hopefully we'll be way gone by then, or that's the idea anyway. We've had an end of season meeting. The only other thing to say at this stage is there are quite a few players that are retiring. I'm not sure whether I can see them on here at this stage, but there are a number of players that are have said that they will retire, and we also have a contractual issue with Spice, the goalkeeper, who wants too much money basically to stay with us. We'll find those out for the transfer part of the episode, which we'll do shortly, but just a quick heads up of the initial wage budget coming in for the season. 3.3k of wage budget and 6.02k of transfer budget. Needless to say, we have actually altered those budgets to try and maximise the wage budget as much as possible. And again, when we get to the transfer part of this episode, then we will actually look at what that looks like in reality. So that is the end of season review as far as how we ended up. Job done. But let's move on to the next season, I think is the next thing. And what we're going to do right now is have a look at the transfer window. And here we are in our first screen, having a look at the players that have come in. As you can see, nobody has gone out. Coming in, we'd already pre-lined up Ronaldo Pearson, who had been on trial with us and scoring goals just for fun, I think, in the under-18s, and we've brought him in as extra firepower in attack, shall we say. And you can see here he is going to add to that. Does mean that we've got a lot of strikers, and hopefully we'll be able to rotate enough to give them all a bit of game time, and we won't actually end up with anybody that's grumpy, or certainly not too early in the season. And I think whoever's going to start at the start of the season is really going to have to show or shine through in pre-season in order to impress me to be on that pitch for the first game of the season. So Ronaldo's got some work to do there. Also coming in, we have George Wilson, who is a central midfield player. We brought him in just to bulk up because Michael Collins, though he's still with us, I think, until the end of this coming season, he is getting on now, and it will mean that will drop off as the season goes on. As you can see here, the attributes for this position, marking probably is the worst one of the lot. Is tackling, aggression, anticipation, bravery, concentration. Position is not particularly teamwork, work rate, and then obviously pace, stamina, strength, etc. is also looking very positive, so hopefully he'll come through. The next one is, I think everybody has a little bit of extravagance when it comes to a player. really probably couldn't afford him, especially at the wages, and I'm going to get pulverised in there if we don't actually get into either the playoffs or get promoted, simply because he's put a big stretch on the wage budget. Is Pascal Juan Estrada. He is a defensive midfielder. I thought he was probably Spanish, but actually he's Austrian. With a name like that, who could have guessed? But he can play both in central midfield. His best position is at anchor in defensive midfield, and he can also play as a central defender if needs be. So he's very useful in that central midfield place. As you can see, he's good at tackling. His first touch is good. He's good at making decisions, positioning, and he has that acceleration, pace, etc. So hopefully he will be a good addition to the team. He has got a value of 17,500, so and he's 18 years old. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, he will actually progress, and if nothing else, there's a bit of money there for us to if somebody comes in to buy him. He has a currently 4.5 star current ability, and that's pretty much where he is. I think it's going to be more like a 5-star potential ability, but as you can see against Adam Nowalski, he is way above where he is currently. So that is Pascal Juan Estrada. Then Cameron McCulloch, he's a goalkeeper. We've brought him in on the basis that Spice, as I said earlier, Spice is not renewing his contract, or won't renew his contract, wants too much money. Got in a bit of a disagreement with him, so we expect him to leave if he hasn't already left. We've brought McCulloch in. I think we had him on trial earlier in the season, and we've brought him in as backup to Gray. As you can see, I think his attributes sort of fairly stack up, albeit there's a couple that aren't particularly good, but yeah, he will be a decent backup, 21 years of age. And then finally, for now, we've brought in one lone player on the right hand side of midfield, and that is Andy Kanga. Comes in from Blackpool, I think it is. Yeah, he's on loan from Blackpool, not paying any money for him, and he will take up that position. He is a winger, can play defensive wing as well, and his attributes show that he's quite good at crossing, which is what we need. His technique is good, and he's also got quite good acceleration and pace, albeit his stamina is quite low, so we might need to keep one eye on him. Team wise, what do we still need to do in the transfer market? This is set on 2 stars. If we move it down to 3 stars, we can really see where we need to bulk up a little bit. Luke Wall is in on a trial, but we've already tried to see if we can give him a contract, and again he wants quite a lot of money. So midfield left is a definite. We definitely need a little bit of backup for Andy Kanga on a right side, albeit we do have some 2-star players. As you can see, striker wise, we have 4 strikers now, which is more than enough, and all 3-star and above. We have Danaher, Chakwana, Morris and Pearson. Central midfield, again, we're sort of reasonably well covered. We have Estrada, Michael Collins and George Wilson, and then in defensive midfield we have Estrada, who will be there in the main. We currently have Isaac Marriott in on trial. He was released by the team that he was with, and I can't remember who he was with now. Let's check. He was with Huddersfield, but he has been released, so he is a free agent, and it may well be that we can pick up Isaac Marriott as a backup for Estrada. Defence, well, as you can see, we've got a lot of trialists in, and a lot of good trialists. Again, we're having a problem because they all want quite a bit of money to come in. Nico Gordon, He is 18 years old, and I'm confident that we might be able to do something with him. As you can see, he's only just come in. We haven't got the full attributes for him yet, so we'll see how that progresses, but it's possible there. But he can also play on the right hand side, so back up for Joshua Webb. Obviously Billy Priestley will be our mainstay in there, and we've already tried Scott Leather, and he wants quite a bit of money. I think he also is 27 years of age, which is why he wants quite a bit of money. And then we have Lewis Cass, who is 20 years old. He is also a central defender. And again, looking at the stats, I don't think he's been in that long, so we'll see how that progresses. We've already checked on Janet. He again currently wants quite a bit of money, so that might be a non-starter. We'll see how all these progress anyway as we start to go through the friendlies, and see the ones that actually stick out for us. As you can see, when we go to 2 stars, we got Theo Hudson on this right hand side, except I can't get his attributes up again now. There we go. 19-year-old, inverted winger is his best role. Josh McDonald. There's a few here that we could probably do something with, and as you can see, Spice is still with us. Oh yes, he is out of contract now, so his contract has expired, I believe, albeit we're still paying him money, which is a bit weird. Contract info, yeah, it's expired, but why we would still pay him if his contract's expired? He's paid £220 a week. We've offered him £220 a week. He's not biting at the moment, but maybe if nobody else comes in for him in the short term, we might then be able to discuss a contract with him in due course. So that's how the team and the squad are looking. Finance wise, as I said, I've moved the budgets around. I've tried to maximise the wage budget. What started out at 3.3 is now 3.6, nearly 3.7. Currently spending 4,393, but our committed spending is 3,800, which is fairly close to that. So we don't have a lot of wriggle room, and currently the board are not giving me any opportunity to ask them for a little bit more money, albeit I fear they would turn around and go, no, you can't. So we will see how that progresses in due course. There are still some players slushing around. Oh, staff wise, we have actually had a little bit of a change around staff. So our head physio changed and moved on, and we have also brought in a new chief scout. If I can get the new chief scout up, let's bob out of here and go to staff. That's responsibilities. Okay, find him in a second. There we go. So we've brought in our new chief scout, Craig Woodman, ex Bristol City in his playing career, a long time back. Played at Bristol City, Mansfield, Torquay United, Wycombe Wanderers, Brentford, and he's basically finished his career up in Exeter. He is now our chief scout, and as you can see, it really does give us quite a bit of oomph when it comes to recruitment. We're still a little bit off the average, third for judging player data, fourth for team data, and second for presenting data, but we are the best for player potential and player ability, so that's putting us in a reasonably good position. And as you can see, we line up quite well with the coaching team as well. So all in all, things are progressing quite well. We will continue with the transfers, and we will come back in our next episode, episode 7, which will be our first 2 games of the new season. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode, a roundup of our previous season and also our transfer special. As I say, episode 7 is coming up soon. If you've enjoyed this episode, a big thumbs up please, and if you've got any comments please leave them in the comments thing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the updates of when the next episode comes out. And we have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and currently YouTube at 4:15. So it's Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 4:15. As I say, hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time round. And if I just quickly check to see when the next episode is, so the next episode, episode 7, will be out next Monday. Hope you've enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye now.